From his studios in New York, it's time for Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. Here's your host, Dan Tortora.
Welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. Been doing this for years, and I'm very excited about this. Not only signing day, but signing day is in February, and in the last couple of years, including this year, we've had the opportunity of early signing day, and that is in December, so I don't have to wait until February to give you these specials. We get to do it right before Christmas. So here on December 19th, we have the signing day specials with the Syracuse Orange individual players coming on to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So we appreciate you tuning in, appreciate you being here. Drew Tuazama is with me right now, and I'm very excited to have him on the show. And Gyra Prep is where he was. Matthews, North Carolina is close to, his area, so to speak. Matthews, North Carolina, not too far away. Knightdale, also a place that he's called home in the past, so to speak. So Drew coming in as a defensive end. He's enrolling early, and he said yes to the Orange, and he made it official by signing on the dotted line here on December 19th. So let's bring him into the show to speak about that decision and so much more. Drew, how are we doing today?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing really well, Drew. And Drew, I got to ask you, with a last name like Tuazama, I have to imagine you have some pretty awesome nicknames. Can you give me any?
They call me Tui. They call me Zama, Tuazama, and anything. Some people can't pronounce it, so they just call me T for short.
So they just call you T when they look at it?
Yes, sir.
So if you go into like Starbucks and they ask for the name, what do you put on there? Just Drew?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fair enough. Now, Drew Tuazama is with us at the defensive end position coming into Syracuse. Drew, I got to ask you, at Gyra Prep as well as at Knightdale, just what you've taken away from both of those with Gyra as well as what Knightdale taught you in North Carolina that'll help you to be a strong collegiate player.
Gyra is a second chance for me because coming out of high school, I wasn't a qualifier. So I went to Gyra Prep to become a qualifier, and that really helped me being away from home before I went to college because it helped me with a lot of stuff, being on my own for the first time, doing stuff on my own for the first time, managing my time by myself for the first time. So that really helped me become better as a person, prioritizing my life.
And so when you go to Gyra Prep, and like you said, it was like your first time away from home, helped you to prioritize your life and get things ready. What did you have to kind of learn the most? What was the hardest thing to do to be away from home and to work on kind of prioritizing things? What would you say was most difficult and kind of like the biggest learning experience for you in that?
Well, just my time management. Time management was like a big part of anything you do in life. Just time management.
So how much better are you with your time, in your opinion? Do you feel like you've gotten a hold of it at this point?
Yes, like in high school, I feel like I just was I was procrastinating, not taking care of stuff like I should have been doing. But now, I learned prioritizing my time and managing my time has really helped me in life.
So
I feel like we're in the next level.
And so with your time management and getting things done on time and whatnot, speak of the balance, because everybody wants to know how fast you run, what position you play, this, that, and the other. On Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I go beyond that. And what I mean by that is, how you balance the classroom as well as playing, because it's a full-time job to be someone in a sport that has the intent on playing collegiately, because you have to give a lot of time and a lot of effort to it. It's not just about showing up on Friday nights. It's about showing up in practice all week, showing up in school, training, lifting, doing what you got to do, running. So speak with me on the balance of school and football and how you've been able to kind of put it all together.
Yeah, it's tough. It's real tough. I've gotten help, but at the end of the day, I have to do it on my own and stay focused. It's just all about being focused. It's doable. You just have to stay focused and do it.
What has been the most difficult part of the balance, in your opinion?
The most difficult part is I'd say just staying focused. I guess it's just like it's hard, but it's doable. Like I know a lot of people say it like it's easy, but it's like it's really not. It's like you could do so much, but at the end of the day, you just have to stay focused. It's just about staying focused, really.
Speaking here with Drew Tuazama on this signing day special, December 19th, 2018, saying yes to Syracuse and early enrollee for 2019. Drew, just bring me into this process. If you always intended to be an early enrollee in college, if it's something that kind of happened over time that just kind of worked out, bring me into the decision of signing early and enrolling early.
It's just something that really happened before. I didn't like last month. I had no idea. Like I didn't really know much about Syracuse, but like I had offers from ECU and UNC. Like they was really recruiting me hard. But you know, the head coaches had got fired, both of the head coaches. So it was just destined for me to go to Syracuse.
So if the coaches had not been fired at ECU in North Carolina, would we be telling a different story today, in your opinion?
I honestly don't know, but how things are looking, I honestly don't know.
So that happens, you know, East Carolina, they recruit you heavily. North Carolina, they do the same thing. I know both of the coaches that were there, obviously Scotty Montgomery at ECU and at North Carolina, Larry Fedora. When you found out of the firings of those coaches, had Syracuse already reached out to you? Were they already trying to build a relationship with you? Or did they come in after the coaches were fired?
They came in right after the coaches were fired.
So how soon did it happen? Was it like the day of, the day after? How would you describe it?
It was like the day that UNC had lost to NC State. That's the day that Coach Standard contacted me. Or, well, I found out that Coach Standard was interested in me because my coach at Java Prep had told me that he was interested.
So Coach Standard says he's interested in you of Syracuse right after everything happens with Larry Fedora and whatnot. What did you know about Syracuse at the time? You know, did you know much of anything when they offered you? I know you kind of made a comment that there wasn't too much connection that you had with them, but how much did you know about the program when they offered you?
I knew they were on the map. I knew they were on the rise. Like at 93, I know they was going somewhere with their program. I know, like, the head coach there is like he's really like building the program. So I just knew they was on the rise, and I was really interested.
So once Syracuse offers you, how long did it take you to kind of do your homework on the Orange?
Coach Standard basically just told me everything about the program, everything I needed to know, all the history and stuff like that. I watched the movie The Express, all that.
Now, speaking here with Drew Tuazama, defensive end, coming in to Syracuse with the 2019 incoming class, that movie that you just mentioned is something that, you know, is brought up a lot in recruiting, and over the last few years, I've heard it repeatedly, and that is the fact of people watching The Express starring Ernie Davis. Why did you watch it? Did Coach suggest that you watch it? Did you just figure that you wanted to, you know, kind of see it? Because it seems like a lot of recruits are drawn to Syracuse after watching that movie.
Yeah, after that home visit with Coach Standard, he told me about the movie, and later that night I just watched it. Me and my family sat down and watched it.
And what did you think of it? What was your takeaways of the movie?
It was a good movie. I liked the movie. Like, it was a nice movie.
What did it tell you about Syracuse history and about Ernie Davis? What type of, you know, feelings or thoughts did it leave with you?
It just gave me the impression to like never give up and stuff like that. Like then somebody had leukemia. I forgot his name.
Ernie Davis.
Yeah. And his mom giving the Heisman back to the school was very touching to me because like when I was on an official visit, I seen it and like that was the original trophy, and that just touched me. So
when you see that story about Syracuse's past and what they've done, you know, and that the Heisman was back there, and like you said that his mom gave it back to Syracuse, so it meant something to you to see that. How much did that have to do with you kind of falling in love with Syracuse? Would you attribute the movie to doing anything for you in this recruiting process?
No, I wouldn't say that, but I would say like me going to Syracuse, taking an official visit, and really seeing the campus and seeing like what I'm studying and like who I'm be associated with, like how much academic help I'll be getting there at Syracuse. I fell in love with everything. I fell in love with the process. I fell in love with Coach Dino, like his attitude towards his players and the staff. I fell in love with the coaching staff. I fell in love with everything.
So you fall in love with Dino, with the staff, with everything that's going on. When you had Coach Stannard come in to see you and visit you, how you bring me into the process of Coach Stannard offering you, coming to see you, and coming to Syracuse. Give me the timeline of all that.
Okay, so around, I want to say 2 weeks ago, he had came to my house for the first time, and we sat there and talked. It was like the first home official visit, and we talked, and he was talking about both defensive end and tight end, and he was talking about like who he coached and stuff like that, and like talking about the NFL scouts coming, like when they come to practice, they just stay with the DNs or D-line or whatever. And we just talked for hours and hours, and my dad talked to him and stuff like that. And he came a week later for another home visit, and that's when my prep school coach came, and we sat down and ate at the dinner table and talked some more.
And so when you had those experiences, and like you said, talk for hours, and you spoke with your dad, what was he saying? What was kind of sticking with you when he was sitting down and speaking with you?
Just the motto of the team, like egoless and just like unselfish. Like the atmosphere there is just like I love it. Like I love it, and like I had the opportunity to come and play and make an impact.
So you have the opportunity to come in. What have they told you about what you have there at the defensive end position, about the opening and the opportunity on the team? Did they give you the notion that, this could be something that could happen right away for you? Is that opportunity kind of there for the taking? How did they describe to you what the defensive line looks like as far as opportunity as a true freshman?
Well, they're graduating two impactful seniors, so I have a great chance of playing. That's what he told me. I could come in, make a right away impact, and be productive, and that's what I'm looking to do.
That coming from Drew Tuazama. Drew, you signed on the dotted line. You've done it. It's over. What did it feel like to officially put your name on paper and know for sure that you are now a college football player?
It feels relief because it's a long journey. Trust me, it's a long journey. Because coming out of high school, I wasn't a qualifier. I had a lot of schools looking at me, but I just couldn't go because of my grades. And going to a prep school, I'm just truly grateful for my prep school coach and athletic director there to stick with me through this long process. And it's finally over, so I'm just so grateful.
You're grateful for the opportunity to move forward here and do it. Who was the first? The first phone call that you made, who was the first person that you wanted to talk with? Bring me into your signing day, from your experience. Who did you call? What did you do? Were mom and dad there? Bring me into all of it.
All right, so I woke up. Last night I had got off the phone with Coach Stannard, and we was talking. He said call him at 7 a.m. in the morning, so I got up the next morning, and I called him this morning at 7 a.m. He walked me through the process, and after I signed it, I called my Spanish teacher, Mr. Sedell, and I just wanted to thank him because I had to get 3 A's to become a qualifier, and like the Spanish class I had to be in, and he stayed up with me till like 2 a.m. in the morning to get that A. So that was the first person I thanked.
So you had to get your A's to get there, like you said, and you called up your Spanish teacher. What did your Spanish teacher say when you made that phone call?
He was excited for me. He was just happy for me. He was just happy for me.
How hard was it for you to get there and to get that A? How difficult was the journey, in your opinion, to get to that point?
It was difficult. I wouldn't say it was too difficult, but I just had to stay focused. That's the main part. just staying focused and doing what I need to do and managing my time like I needed to.
So, what can you tell me in Spanish right now? Can you give me some right now?
Oh man, I can say one thing: is me gusta football. That means I like it.
Yeah, I have Spanish blood, so I wanted to see if you could throw something my way. So, me gusta football. You know that football americano is what you have to say. So, yeah. We'll get you set up and ready to go. You know what? You and I will practice. We'll talk over the next few months, and before you know it, you'll be speaking Spanish on the field.
All right.
So with that coming from Drew Tuazama, Drew, I want to do something fun here that I've been doing for years on the show, and that is called Rapid Fire. It gives me an opportunity to get to know you a little better, gives the fans an opportunity to get to know you. So it has nothing to do with football. I'm going to throw a bunch of questions your way, but in fairness, I'm going to let you throw some my way as well. Are you ready to play?
Yeah, I'm ready to play.
All right, I'm going to give you 3. You give me 3. So my question for you, Drew Tuazama, if anybody played you in a movie, who would play you in the movie, and what would the movie be called?
That's a good question. I would say Will Smith and No Looking Back. I guess that's what the movie be called.
All right, No Looking Back, starring Will Smith as Drew Tuazama. My next question for you is, give me something on your bucket list of your life that you believe you can achieve within the next calendar year.
A bucket list? I want to go skydiving, but I don't know. I can't summon up the courage to do that. I don't know. So
skydiving is an option, but you got to get courageous to do it.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. My final question for you, Drew, is give me 3 things in your life that you feel that you would never want to live without.
My mom, family, football, and God.
Family, football, and God. I have to have a quick follow-up here because God is very important to me as well, and I have no shame in speaking about it here on the show. What can you say about your relationship with God and how important God is in your life?
Well, the person that really got me into it is my grandfather. He was a Baptist preacher down in Sanford, North Carolina, where he passed away last year. And before he died, he really strengthened my relationship with God and got baptized and everything.
And how did he strengthen? First and foremost, I'm sorry for your loss. I know grandfathers are important. Both of mine passed away in 1992. So how did he strengthen your relationship before he passed away?
He just talked to me about it, just unfortunately, just read the Bible every day and stuff like that. Talk to me about it on the regular. So he taught me how to pray and stuff like that.
That coming from Drew Tuazama, with your grandfather leaving a legacy with you. You got 3 questions to ask me, Drew. Go ahead.
What's your favorite car and why?
My favorite car and why? I would say, I would say probably maybe a Chevy Camaro because I like Bumblebee. I would say maybe I want to get a Jaguar at some time in my life, so I guess I'd choose those 2.
Yeah, that's I like those too. Let me think. What's your favorite memory in high school?
My favorite memory in high school. It would probably be I wasn't close to a ton of people in high school, and we had these votes at the end of the year, and you voted for a guy and a girl for each thing, and it was most likely to become successful, and there was supposed to be one guy and one girl chosen, and they named me, and your classmates choose, and so they said Dan Tortora, and then the teacher paused, and he goes, no, that's it. He goes, nobody picked any girl. It was unanimous. It was Dan. And so everybody had chosen me most likely to become successful, which I thought meant a lot, especially because I didn't know that that's how they thought of me. So I take that. I take that. It's good stuff.
They chose right.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. What's your final one for me, sir?
I got a question. What is it? What got you into broadcasting?
my passion for sports and my desire to spread positive energy to people. I use sports I always say sports is my vehicle, and inside my vehicle is love, patience, understanding, empathy, comedy, humble ways. So I use the world of sports to bring people together and hopefully make people laugh and hopefully, bring about some equality and some understanding across a bunch of different lines and whatnot. So, to me, I just always wanted to tell stories. I thought that I could help people, and 15 years later, I'm still sitting in the chair with the microphone, so I feel good.
That's great. That's good stuff.
That coming from Drew Tuazama. It's a signing day special, early signing day period here. Drew, great to have you here on the broadcast. Love the questions, appreciate the positivity, and thank you for the compliments. I look forward to having you back on the show. And on behalf of me and Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and I appreciate you telling your story about your grandfather. I'm sure he's watching over you with a smile on his face today.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
All right, I'll talk with you soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you.